We are quickly approaching the month of February, and with that, a lot of great PlayStation 4 game releases, and in today's video, I want to highlight the top 5 PS4 games coming in February that are going to absolutely be worth your money. What I really noticed about the game releases in February is, yes, there's not a lot of big budget heavy hitters, however, there are a lot of these games, whether they be remasters, collections, or even brand new games, that are really being priced accordingly, and I can really appreciate that. Not every game has to be $59.99. Not every game are we eager to spend a full $60 on. Hey, sometimes it might be a little bit more if you're at a different part of the world, Canada or whatever the case may be, Australia. I know you guys are paying a ton for these games. And whenever there's a developer or a publisher that can say, hey, we're releasing our games and it's gonna be a little bit cheaper, I can always give that a little bit of credit, and I want to go over 5 games that are doing exactly that. One of these games is a full $60, but when we get to that, you guys are gonna be like, alright, yeah, that's worth $60 given the stature of that game. Alright, so without further ado, let's get right into it, and I want to kick things off with Darksiders Genesis. This is a game that I'm very much excited for, done by Airship Syndicate and published by THQ Nordic. It is a action-adventure co-op hack-and-slash Darksiders game set before the events of the first title. And it looks very, very good. It released on PC back in December, and it was received rather well. 87% positive reception on Steam, and that's based on 2,931 Steam user reviews, and it's got a 77 on Metacritic, which all things considered I think is pretty good, especially for a lower key release like this. And Darksiders Genesis, once again, is going to be a great entry point to the series, as it gives players their first look at the world of Darksiders before the events of the original game. Furthermore, it introduces the fourth and last horseman in Strife, as well as co-op gameplay for the first time in the history of the franchise. It notes, from the dawn of creation, the Council has maintained the balance across existence. Carrying out their orders are the horsemen, Nephilim, powerful beings spawned from the unnatural union of angels and demons, who have pledged themselves to the Council and been granted immense power. However, this power came at a tragic cost. The horsemen were ordered to use their newfound strength to wipe out the rest of their kind. What followed was a bloody battle on Eden, where the horsemen, obeying the will of the Council, where they annihilated everything else. Still reeling from the events of Eden, War and Strife have been given a new assignment. Lucifer, the enigmatic and deceptive Demon King, has been plotting to upset the balance by granting power to master demons throughout hell. War and Strife, on the other hand, must now hunt down these masters, gather information, and ultimately fight their way through a tangled demonic conspiracy that threatens to forever upset the balance and unravel of all creation. Darksiders Genesis is an action-adventure title that tears its way through hordes of demons, angels, and everything in between on its way to hell and back. With guns blazing and swords swinging, Genesis gives players their first look at the world of Darksiders before the events of the original game. Key features: noblesse, angels, and demons as the gunslinging horseman Strife, playable for the first time. Swap between the powerful swordsman War and Strife instantly in frantic single-player gameplay. Explore the epic world of Darksiders and wreak havoc with a friend in 2-player co-op mode. Experience a brand new story campaign that takes place between the original Darksiders, exploring the origin of the Seven Seals. And grow in strength and power as you collect items, abilities, weapon enhancements, creature cores, and more. Again, received really well on PC when it released back in December, and it will be arriving to the PlayStation 4 on February 14th. Next up, here's a title I'm very excited for, a multiplayer game where if you can jump in with a couple of friends, you're gonna have a great time, and that is Hunt Showdown. Hunt Showdown is a competitive first-person PvP bounty hunting game with heavy PvE elements from the makers of Crysis and Crytek. Set in the darkest corners of the world, it packs the thrill of survival games into a match-based format. Released at $39.99 on PC, I imagine it'll see a similar price release on PS4. And this has been received very, very well. It's got an 81 on Metacritic, a very positive reception on Steam, 80% positive all time with its 38,550 user reviews. And then the recent reviews, which are really what you need to take a look at, given that this is a game that's been heavily updated by Crytek, paints an even more positive picture at 88% based on 2,193 user reviews. It's an excellent multiplayer game. Savage, nightmarish monsters roam the Louisiana swamps, and you are part of a group of rugged bounty hunters bound to rid the world of their ghastly presence. Banish these creatures from the world and you'll be paid generously and given the chance to buy more gruesome and powerful weapons. Fail and death will strip you of both character and gear. Your experience, however, remains in your pool of hunters called your bloodline always. Hunt's competitive match-based gameplay mixes PvP and PvE elements to create a uniquely tense experience where your life, your character, and your gear are always on the line. At the beginning of each bounty hunt match, up to 12 players set out to track their monstrous targets. Depending on which mode and team options you've chosen, that 12 will include a combination of solo players and teams of 2 or 3. Once they've found and defeated one of these, you'll receive a bounty and instantly become a target for every other hunter left on the map. If you don't watch your back, you'll find a knife in it, and your last memory will be of someone else walking away with your prize. So a lot of competition here. The higher the risk, the higher the reward, but a single mistake could cost you everything. Hunt's quick play game mode, on the other hand, offers a shorter match during which up to 10 individual players race to scavenge gear and find and close 4 rifts as they compete for a diminishing pool of bounty. First hunter to the final rift absorbs its energies but must survive the final count to complete the mission, while the other hunters attempt to take them out and take the prize for themselves. When the timer runs out, the winner keeps their hunter while the rest perish. Progression is a big element of the game. Even in death, you'll be able to progress among the ranks of hunters via your bloodline. Though one character may die, their experience will be transferred to your bloodline, where it will be applied to your other hunters if you make it out of the map alive. And then it also puts big emphasis into Darksight. Darksight allows hunters to see into the veil between worlds, making that which cannot be seen by mortal eyes visible to those who have been initiated. Use Darksight when you are tracking monsters, and a ghostly light will guide you towards your next target. Darksight also marks players carrying a bounty, making them even more vulnerable to ambush while trying to escape. The game's won a lot of awards, and again, at a $39.99 price point, it's gonna be a compelling multiplayer game, but this is a game that you absolutely only buy if you're jumping into it with a couple of friends. If you're buying it and you're playing alone, I don't know how enjoyable the game is going to be, but if you got a squad of people picking the game up, I do think it's going to be a lot of fun. This is also a game that I'd love to see as a PlayStation Plus offering sometime down the line. Always like to see multiplayer games like this offered as Plus because they're enhanced by having a group of people to play with, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime in the near future. So for now, if you are interested in Hunt Showdown, I think it's going to be a great buy when it does drop on February 18th. Next up, here is a game that I think embodies all of the characteristics of offering great value at a price point, and that is the Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection. Now, these Mega Man collections have always offered pretty good values, and I know at the end of the day, these are bundled games that are Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS titles. However, given the fact that there are 6 games being included, yes, you've got Mega Man Zero 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you've got the DS titles and Mega Man ZX and Mega Man ZX Advent. That's a total of 6 games. They could have easily gotten away with a $39.99 or even a $49.99 price point. I don't think that would have been that crazy. They decided to opt in for a $29.99 price point, which is so worth it. The Mega Man Zero games are incredibly challenging, but it offers that Mega Man experience that you know and love, and Mega Man ZX and ZX Advent more so like a Metroidvania game where there is some exploration to be had as well. I think a lot of people are going to dig those titles, but again, at $30, the value is ridiculous here, and in addition to the original games, the package includes an artwork gallery, music player, special filters, and much more. A casual scenario mode and a save assist feature are available for those who'd like to enjoy the story at their own pace, so now they're offering even more content and player options. Players can also try their hand at the new leaderboard-based Z-Chaser mode, an exclusive new mode created for this set of games, so you've got a new mode added as well. Visually, these games aren't anything to write home about. Again, Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS titles. However, to get all of these games in one collection, to see Mega Man continue to make incredible strides from Capcom, which it was a franchise that for a while Capcom had been neglecting for quite a while. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the original release of that game, didn't even feature Mega Man, which was a colossal head-scratcher. And then we all know the story of Mighty No. 9, but after all of that, it seems like Mega Man is really starting to find its footing, and Capcom is offering a lot of value with the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection. And hell, Capcom has been doing a lot of great stuff for the last few years. Last 2 to 3 years, Capcom has been on point with their releases, from Resident Evil 7, Devil May Cry 5, Monster Hunter World, and all of the Mega Man releases on Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection is only going to add to that. Next up, here's a collection that is $59.99, but I think is well worth it. The Yakuza Remastered Collection, which includes Yakuza 3, 4, and 5, so you get 3 Yakuza games for the price of 1 full game. Now, Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 were originally PlayStation 3 games, but just like all of the other Yakuza games that you guys have hopefully played, like Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, Yakuza 6, whatever the case may be, they are packed with content. We are talking a ton of content in each game that is going to keep you busy for a very long time. And it notes the Yakuza Remastered Collection is far from a typical console generation generation port, in addition to graphical and performance upgrades, 720p to 1080p and 30 FPS to 60 FPS. All three games have gone through a rigorous relocalization process. The English scripts for each games have been reviewed, revised, and even rewritten in some cases, and content previously cut from the Western releases of Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 have been re-added in this remastered collection. The collection also brings the final missing chapters in Kiryu's story to the PlayStation 4, from Yakuza 0 to 6, all being available on the PlayStation 4. You can now finally experience the entire story of Kazuma Kiryu on the PlayStation 4. Missing content from the original Western release has been re-added to the remastered versions, and the full English scripts have been reviewed. The Day 1 edition also includes Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 on 2 discs in a striking red collectible case, emblazoned with Kiryu's trademark dragon tattoo, while supplies last. Now, that usually supplies seem to last a little while. I'm pretty sure you can still get the Yakuza 6 Essence of Life edition or whatever they called it, so we'll see about that. However, $60 for all three of those games I think is very much worth it. You can actually jump right into Yakuza 3 and 4 right now. They do sell it on the PlayStation Store, and you can pay $60, you'll get Yakuza 3 and 4 now, and then come February 11th, you'll get Yakuza 4 as well. But all that content for $59.99, hey, I'm not one that's often to recommend games at a full $60. Obviously, if a game is at the level, I'll definitely do it, and there are some games, especially in 2019, that were worth $60, but Yakuza Remastered Collection, I really think this is a set of game that essentially you're getting each game for $20, and I think that's very much worth it. And lastly, a final collection to round things out, the Bayonetta and Vanquish 10th Anniversary Bundle. The launch edition comes with an awesome steelbook case. You get Bayonetta and you get Vanquish for $39.99. What a great deal on this. Of course, these are both games developed by Platinum Games, and you might be wondering, hey, this is kind of a random collection, but no, Bayonetta and Vanquish actually both released in 2010, and yes, it's the 10th anniversary of those games, and they are phenomenal games. I feel like Bayonetta has gotten a lot of recognition for being an awesome action-oriented title. Hell, they have Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 3 is in development, however, those are Nintendo Switch exclusives. Vanquish, on the other hand, doesn't seemingly get as much attention. Now, I know that Vanquish, from a narrative standpoint, is not very good. It's honestly, at times, comically bad. However, the gameplay is that Platinum Games high-octane gameplay that you know and love. It's fast-paced, it's enthralling, it's engaging. I cannot say enough good things about Vanquish. I'd love to see a Vanquish 2 at some point. I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, given that it's been nearly 10 years since the release of the original game, but hey, getting both of these titles for $39.99 I think is a great buy. They could have gone the route of releasing them separately at $29.99 each. They could have done a physical release for each of them, whatever. And they could have made it a little bit more expensive, but they went the route of offering both games at $39.99, and if even you would like to get the games separately, you can go on the PlayStation Store and you can buy each of the games for $19.99 a pop. I think that's a great gesture from Platinum. Hey, these are remasters at the end of the day. They're Sega-published titles, and $19.99 for each of them does make sense, especially because in the case of Vanquish, a pretty short experience. However, the experience that it does offer you a ton of fun, and then Bayonetta is an excellent game as well, and even as a self-contained experience, if you eliminate the fact that Bayonetta 2 and 3 exist, it's still a very, very enjoyable, action-oriented, self-contained experience. So for $39.99, you get a slick steelbook as well, and I cannot say enough good things about that steelbook because it looks awesome. Both games on one disc, and that does drop February 18th. And by the way, remastered on the PS4, 4K graphics at 60 FPS available on the PS4 Pro. Can't get much better than that, especially playing those two games at 60 FPS. Bayonetta in particular did have some performance issues on the PlayStation 3, so good to see that get a performance uplift on the PS4. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, a lot of good stuff coming to the PS4 in February. However, they are games that are a little bit low-key. Maybe they're not games that are going to be all over commercials and things like that. However, some very compelling releases. Whether you want a great multiplayer title in Hunt Showdown, whether you want a great action RPG in Darksiders Genesis, if you want some side-scrolling fun with Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection, if you want a bigger adventure game like the Yakuza Remastered titles, and then you've got Bayonetta and Vanquish. Very distinct and diverse games as well. We've even got Dreams coming out in February. That's one game. It's $59.99, a little bit pricey. I could see it get cheaper a little quick, and that is a game that's definitely gonna get better over time as people make more content and Media Molecule rolls out more updates. So I'm a little bit skeptical at saying that that's a buy right away, but these 5 games definitely worth your money right out of the gate. So that's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.